Judge. Do you know judges today? There's so many people who talk about a judge. Yes, this is a name of God, judge. Let me share that name as portrayed in Psalms 75, 1-7. It says, "Unto thee, O God, do we give thanks, to that thy name is near. For that thy name is near, men declare thy wondrous works. When I select an appointed time, it is I who judge with equity. The earth and all who dwell in it melt. It is I, the Lord said. I have firmly set its pillars. I said to the boastful, do not boast. And to the wicked, do not lift up your horn on high. Do not speak with insolent pride. For not from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, the desert comes exaltation. But God is the judge. He puts down one and exalts another." I like Albert Barnes' comment on this passage. He said, "But God is the judge. All depends on Him, not on natural advantages of a country, not on human strength, human skill, or human prowess. Whatever may be the enterprise, the numbers or the valor of its inhabitants, whatever alliances of peace or war they may form with other nations, yet success depends on God. He presides over all. He gives success when it is least expected. And He also can humble men when they made most ample preparations for success and anticipated in the most confident manner. So in other words, when it comes to promotion, the psalmist says that God is the judge. Dare we conjecture from where the judgment comes? Job says that at the North Star, there is an empty space. Have you ever known that? Job said that. In the North Star, there's an empty space. And the psalmist says an interesting truth. He says that promotion does not come from the east, west, or south. It doesn't mention north. The entire heavens are covered with stars, but there are none around the North Star. Is that empty space, an empty place where Jesus was before He came to earth and where He went back after the resurrection? Something to think about. The North Star, we call it the celestial navigation. We get our bearing from the North Star. I think everybody knows that, especially sea captains. Navigators rely on that. We can deduce from the fact that Christ is the center of all life, here and hereafter. That makes it simple to understand that Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And no one can come to the Father except through Christ. This psalm opens with, "Thy name is near. Men declare thy wondrous works." Names help us know something about the person of whom we speak. We learn that He, God, is near, that He cares, that He will lift up those who have fallen. Knowing all of this, we give thanks because of His wondrous works. God has set a time for judgment. Hezekiah is the king of whom the psalmist speaks about, and God knew all about his anxieties, his deliverance from the army of the Assyrians. He was afraid. He thinks the enemy could win. But God sends a message. Listen to the message to Hezekiah. Hezekiah, do not be afraid of the king of Assyria. I will send a blast upon him. What's the blast? And he will return to his own land, and he will die by his own sword. Wow. Don't miss this. God is the judge. Israel enemies, Arameans, Assyrians, Babylonians, generally come from the north. North symbolizes an evil and hostile force far from a specific geographical location. Israel is catalogically enemies as hordes from the uttermost part of the north. Ezekiel 38, 5, 12, and 15. Israelites have returned to the state of Israel from more than 100 countries. Verse 12 and verse 15 says, the great grandchildren of Noah, and to take a spoil, to turn thine hand upon desolate places, meaning that they go back to Israel and all the desolate places they occupied, places that are now inhabited, upon the people that are gathered out of the nations. And thou shalt come from thy place out of the north part, thou and many people with you. So that's what Israel has been doing. They've been returning to Israel and occupying the desolate lands. And verse 16 mentions Gog. Probably refers to the people who live in Magog, identified by Josephus as the land of the Scythians, the region north and northeast of the Black Sea, and east of Aral Sea, now occupied by Russia. Now, I think now you can begin to see that in your mind's eye. Other allies will include Persia or Iran, Ethiopia, northern Sudan. Put is Libya, Gomer, eastern part of Turkey, and the Ukraine. North is significant in more ways than one. Israel was protected by the desert on the east and the Mediterranean Sea on the west. And since the main highways are north to south, Israel's enemies had to approach from either north or south, because Egypt was weak during most of Israel's occupation of Palestine. This fact, combined with the phenomenon that stormy weather from the west descends on Palestine from the north. The north winds bring forth rain and backbiting tongue. Well, that's an expression meaning that the enemy will try to destroy Israel with their backbiting and their tongue-lashing and angry countenance too. They're so mad with Israel. So everybody's trying to destroy Israel. Proverbs 25:23 gave north an ominous overtones, for the Israelites. It represented a mysterious and unknown region, the location of hostile forces. I could almost add, if you are hemmed in from all directions, from back, left, front, right, wherever, from all sides, then what do? You look up. Look up to God. And if Christ occupies the north, why should we fear? Let us consider the righteous judgment of God. The voice of God declares from heaven His righteousness. He waits when we are anxious for Him to hurry. His waiting time are not wasted times. When the psalmist says in Psalm 27 verse 14, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen thine heart." Wait, I say, on the Lord. Isn't that beautiful? We should not be in a hurry. We wait on the Lord. But we should be taking action of taking God seriously, action of waiting on God rather than going somewhere else. He is helping us to learn a great lesson. Our times are in His hands, the hands of our judge. He doeth all things well. God of mercy, judge me and plead my cause. Grant victory over the enemy and help me to trust you completely. My judge, the one who will decide for me, the one who will decide what to do next, what I should do, what I should be. God is my judge. Amen and amen.